What if I told you that the key to winning any negotiation, literally any of them, has almost nothing to do with logic or reason or even what you're asking for? Well, today we're diving into a pretty radical idea, one pioneered by the FBI's top hostage negotiator, that real success, real influence, isn't about winning an argument. It's all about understanding human emotion.
You see, for decades, the world of negotiation was completely dominated by these academic theories, from places like Harvard. They were all built on one simple idea, that humans are rational. The goal was always to find a logical, win-win solution. But here's the thing. When the FBI tried to use these methods out in the real world, with bank robbers, with terrorists, they failed, just spectacularly. It turns out you can't really find a rational middle ground with people who are driven by fear, desperation, and, delusion.
So, while the business schools were teaching spreadsheets and economic analysis, the FBI's crisis negotiation unit had to basically throw out the playbook and start from scratch. They turned away from that whole rational problem-solving thing and built a new system based on psychology and crisis intervention. They stopped trying to be the smartest person in the room, and instead, they focused on becoming experts in empathy. And you know what? It worked. It really, really worked. And that brings us to the core of this whole approach. And let me just say, this is not some soft, feel-good skill. We're talking about a strategic weapon. A kind of martial art for your mind that lets you disarm your counterpart and gain real influence.
This is it. Tactical empathy. Now, the most important part of this definition, the part that really changes the game, is that last phrase, so you can influence what happens next. See, this isn't about being nice. It's not about agreeing with someone. It's about understanding their point of view so completely, so deeply, that you can gently guide them to the outcome you're looking for. It's the art of making someone feel truly and completely heard.
And this is exactly why we call it a martial art. The ancient strategist Sun Tzu totally got this. He knew that true power often looks like its opposite. By focusing 100% on the other person, by seeming inactive and just listening, you're actually gathering intelligence and creating an opening where you can have the most influence.
Okay, so how do you actually do this? Let's get practical. We're going to open up the toolkit. These are 3 simple, super actionable techniques you can start using right away to disarm people and build trust. First things first, it starts with how you talk. I want you to think of the late-night FM DJ voice. It's deep, it's slow, it's calm. When you speak with that downward inflection, it's totally non-threatening and it just projects confidence. It actually triggers a chemical reaction in the other person's brain that calms them down, making them way more open and a lot less defensive.
All right, tool number 2 is mirroring. And this is so simple, it almost feels like cheating. You just repeat the last 1 to 3 important words that your counterpart just said. Now, it feels a little awkward at first, I'm not going to lie, but it's an incredibly powerful way to build rapport. It just signals, hey, I'm with you, I'm listening, and it encourages them to keep talking, often giving up critical information without you even having to ask.
And the third tool is labeling. This is where you vocally call out the emotion you're sensing from the other person. You start with something soft, like it seems like or it sounds like, and then you just name the feeling you're picking up on. The moment you name their emotion, you validate it, and it's like letting the air out of a balloon. The intensity of any negative feelings just drops. It's amazing.
Okay, so now we have the tools. But what's the target? What are we actually aiming for? Most of us go into a negotiation thinking the goal is to get the other person to say yes, but that's a huge mistake. The real breakthrough, the real win, is something else entirely. So you have to ask yourself, are you just pushing for compliance? Are you just trying to get a quick yes to end the conversation? Or are you trying to build real, genuine agreement? Because there is a world of difference between someone saying yes just to get you off their back and someone who has truly bought into your position.
And this right here is the key. Yes is often totally meaningless. But when you've used mirroring and labeling so effectively that you've summarized their position perfectly, so perfectly that they look at you and say, that's right, that is the magic moment. That's right is a declaration. It means they feel completely heard and understood. It's the moment the locks come off the door and they give you permission to start influencing them.
So, you're probably not negotiating a hostage crisis. Why does any of this matter to you? Well, because these same exact tools are unbelievably powerful in everyday leadership. I'm talking about team meetings, sales calls, even a tough conversation with your family.
For any leader, this stuff is a total game changer. You can use these techniques to create a sense of psychological safety almost instantly,
which makes people comfortable enough to share their real ideas. You can validate someone's perspective even if you completely disagree with it. And that just disarms all their defensiveness. When you make your team feel genuinely heard, you're not forcing them to comply, you're guiding them to their own breakthroughs.
Ultimately, mastering tactical empathy isn't about memorizing a script. It's about building a versatile toolkit. It changes you from being a one-trick pony in a negotiation to being a master tactician, someone who can read the room, understand the person across from them, and choose the perfect tool to guide the conversation. So let me ask you, the next time you walk into a high-stakes conversation, are you going to be arguing facts or are you going to be listening for feelings?